Good evening, my friends. This is Angie Stewart from Miami InnerLight, here live in Kardec Radio. So I hope you will be able to see us right now on Facebook Live. But if you are not able to do it, please, you and your friends, tell everybody that they can check out kardecradio.com and also Kardec Radio in the app via the phone. So you can listen to this talk and many other beautiful books, lectures. There is so much. And the wonderful content is in English to help all of our brothers and sisters who are not Portuguese speakers. So welcome to our study. It happens on a weekly basis. We are studying this beautiful book, Among Brothers of Other Lands, and also the Gospel according to Spiritism. So I hope you can hear me. Let me check it. I have like 3 different types of connections, just trying to make sure you can hear me. Oh, hello, Matthew. You can hear me? Thank you. Thank you for your assistance. It's important because I always have connectivity problems. But anyway, so if you are new to the study, I always enjoy starting it with a prayer to connect us with the spiritual, these elevated spirits that will be able to help us to connect. So I always invite you to have also a bottle of water, especially now in this time of coronavirus. We really need to take care of our spirit, but also our physical body, because it's really good that we are strong, and if we end up getting the virus, we will be able to fight it in a much faster and stronger way. So our friends are going to be arriving in a few minutes. I just want to invite you to relax and pray with me so we can start the study. Okay? Dear God, our Mother and Father, thank you so much for your love. Thank you so much for your guidance, your inspiration, always with us. And at this moment, we start the study. We would like to ask you to send your positive energies towards us so we can fully connect with it, opening our minds to the study so we can fully understand the message. But most of all, we can live the message, because this is what is really important in our lives. We need to live what we learn to continue our progress. Please stay with us now and always. Thank you so much. So be it. Very good. Very good. So I will remove this little thing here so we don't have so much of a disturbance. Let me see. How do I remove it? Oh, like this. Good. Very good. Okay, so as I always do, I read the text, and then we can make comments. You can make comments. You can ask questions, and then at the end I can go over everything. And I like to read little by little and explain little by little. So this is chapter 28. The title is In the Harvest of Age. And this time the spirit is Emmanuel. So I always like to talk a little bit about the spirit that gives the text for us. But you know, Emmanuel, everybody knows Emmanuel. Emmanuel is so popular, is so famous, wrote so many books through Chico Xavier. But there is one peculiarity that I really enjoy and I think would be good for you. Probably you know, but if you don't know, then it will be interesting. So Emmanuel was always really connected. He was an admirer of Saint Paul. So he always admired his works, his life, everything. So Emmanuel reincarnated many, many times, and as we all did. And a few days ago, I actually posted on my personal Facebook all the reincarnations of Emmanuel, because there is a group who did a beautiful research, and they put all his known reincarnations. Unfortunately, it was in Portuguese. That's why I put in my personal, not in Miami Inner Light. But anyway, in one of his reincarnations, he was a priest. He was a priest few times. But in this one, he was a priest in Brazil. In Brazil. And his name was Manuel da Nóbrega. So the priest Manuel da Nóbrega was really loving and very connected with Brazil, working with the indigenous population, bringing them some knowledge of Christianity in that time. And then, working with this population, he decided to open a school. He wanted to open a school in a location, and the name of the school was Saint Paul, because of his love and admiration for Saint Paul. And then he's praying to get inspiration on when he should do it and how he should do it, blah, blah, blah. And then, through his dream or his visualization, and we don't know exactly, he saw Saint Paul himself. So Saint Paul himself appeared to him and told him, Manuel, my son, the idea of a school with my name is beautiful, but in reality, I want you to open a city, to found a city. And I can just imagine if it was me. It's like, a school is already a lot for most of people, but opening a city, it's like, what? But for Emmanuel, in the time Manuel da Nóbrega, it was not that a big deal. He was really happy that he had this amazing vision. He agreed, and he actually decided to postpone in few months the opening of this city, because he wanted it to coincide with the birthday of St. Paul. So the city was actually opened in August, was inaugurated in August 29, 1553. So very interesting story. And when I finish, I will post a summary in a Miami Inner Light page, so you can read more details about it, and also a video of Chico Xavier himself telling a little bit about this story, but it will be in Portuguese. So let's read the text again. In the harvest of aid, Spirit Emmanuel. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievances you may have against one another. Forgive as Christ forgave you. Paul. And then the text starts. It is unnecessary to stress the brightness of the brain in the dome of humanity. The vanguard nations of material progress effect prodigies in the fields of research and the definition of the terrestrial plane. The university is a storehouse of light for intelligence. The laboratory is a fountain of safe answers for millennial questions. However, in the sphere of spirit, discord and despair, disgust and disappointment still remain. All of us uneasily refer to calamities of war, the proliferation of vices, the damage of hatred, and the misrepresentation of culture that impose themselves in our common path. Here and there, we point out the ideological fights, racial conflicts, insanity, and selfishness. What do we, as Christ's apprentices, do to the re-equilibrium of the world? We are convinced that violence does not extinguish violence. Besides that, we do not ignore that Jesus called us so we understand and help, construct, and reconstruct for the goodness of all. Let us think about it. Do not claim isolation or smallness to give up on the edifying effort that is on us. A humble fountain warrants the oasis in the dry land, and only one lamp wins the force of darkness. The harmony of the whole comes from the fidelity of the service of each one. Let us work united for the edification of a better earth. Let us start and restart our task, relying our own action on Paul's advice. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievances you may have against one another. New York, USA, July 4th, 1965. Very powerful and beautiful message. And yes, when we hear this message, there are so many points that we have to comment so we can understand a little bit better. Oh, I'm seeing some names popping out now. Each time I use a different system, things don't work really well. Hello, Saul. Hello, Teresa. Nice to have you here. I don't see Carla. I hope she will be able to join too. Anyway, so, you know, Emmanuel starts telling us that the intelligence is so important and it will bring a lot of development to the people themselves and to the planet Earth itself. But he starts making a comparison. Yes, brightness of the brain, the dome of humanity. And then he starts saying the university is a storehouse of light for intelligence. The laboratory is a fountain of safe answers for millennium questions. This is all connected with intelligence, development of our intelligence, our intellectual aspects. And then he goes to, however, in the sphere of the spirit, discord and despair, disgust and disappointment still remain. And it is true. Still remain, and is still so strong, you know, even for us that we are studying how to better ourselves, how it's so important to forgive. Jesus already taught us more than 2,000 years ago, and we still can't absorb it. We already know it, but there is a difference between knowing something and putting it in practice. So when we are talking about forgiveness to each other, it's easy. It's like, yeah, you have to forgive. If you don't forgive, forget about. But when the time arrives for us to put in practice and to forgive, it is still hard. It is hard. It's from the human nature. It's difficult for us. And, you know, we want almost to live in this perfect realm. We want to be perfect spirits. We want to be teleported to Jupiter. During my gospel, I read many books. And one of the books is the Spiritist Review or the Spiritist Magazine. That's the book, the many books that Kardec wrote, and this one is from 1858. And there he is talking about the life in Jupiter. So he's interviewing spirits that live in Jupiter. So he's trying to make a comparison from Jupiter to Earth. And the spirits are giving all the answers and explaining. And sometimes the spirits just say, you cannot understand this yet. And most of the time, the spirit is saying how much more elevated Jupiter is. And we know that. And then there are certain portions that we think, this is my conclusion reading the text. Imagine us the way we are right now if we were granted to stay in Jupiter for a week, like summer vacation in Jupiter. Wouldn't be easy. Wouldn't be easy because of the characteristics of the spirits from Jupiter. They are so much more elevated than us, and they have qualities that we can't reach yet. And the goodness is natural to all of them. They don't have any negative feelings. They don't have envy. They don't have anger. They don't have anything that we do. And sometimes we have little things that are so silly, and they are so common on Earth. So 2 stories that I want to talk about it. One is a story of a spirit from Earth, that's Chico Xavier. And he has this quality because of his mediumship. He was able to read thoughts of people. And a lot of people didn't believe it, but Geraldinho is a speaker that lived with him in the same city, and since very young, he was always very close to Chico Xavier. He said one time they were traveling, and Chico went somewhere. He was very tired, and he removed his shoes. And someone was say, "Oh, I'm gonna bring you a towel so you can take a shower," something like that. And then Geraldinho said that he looked at the Chico's feet and thought, "Oh my God, his feet looks ugly because it had a lot of when you have ingrained toenail and had." Joanete, I don't know how to say this, is when the bone, it's like sticking out on the feet. And Geraldinho also thought, my God, maybe he has some kind of bad smell. And as soon as he thought that, he's like, oh my God, I can't think this because, imagine if she could really read thoughts. And then passed, the lady arrived with the towel, and then no, while the lady went to pick up the towel, Chico started, look at my feet, so ugly. But, I walked so much, I do this, I do that. I really need to take a shower. The feet is ugly, the nail, it's bad. And then he looked at Geraldine and said, but it does not smell bad. And then Geraldine was like, oh my God, he read my thoughts. And this is one of the characteristics of the spirits in Jupiter. So I just gave you a simple example of a simple thing, that Geraldinho thought towards Chico, who is from Earth. Imagine us going to Jupiter for a week. Would be really difficult. So we would see things, and we might desire something, say, wow, look at this beautiful house, I wish it was mine. Or oh, look at this dress, oh, so beautiful, this white tunic that the superior spirits use, for example. And we would feel very embarrassed because they would understand, they would read our thoughts. Anyway, this is just one thing for us to think, that we need to be here because we need to evolve. And when we evolve, we will be graduating. It's almost like we are leaving the school to go to high school. Then we are going to go to college. Then we're going to do some kind of post-graduation, master's. And it will be like this. If we jump, if we skip, Imagine you going from, I don't know, from the 8th grade and you going straight to a master class. Unless you are a genius, it will be very difficult. So we need to go through step by step so we can actually grow and in the intellectuality too. So uh, so when we go to the next page, he continues talking. And he says, here and there, we point out the ideological fights, racial conflicts, insanity, and selfishness. So these are the problems of Earth. This happens all the time. This is happening a lot nowadays. A lot, People discord of anything people are fighting about. Use mask, don't use mask. Go out, don't go out. Stay. It's like it's difficult even for us to take decisions. So people should connect on what they have in common. They should try. They like talking about us too. We should try to focus on something good, on something we have in common. Try to bring people to some kind of uplift, to feel better, to think about each other. But I know we go to the other side. We have a tendency of seeing fights and we want to participate, we want to understand what is when in the reality, we should separate fights. We should help people to say, yes, I don't agree with whatever you're saying or whatever you think, but you have the rights of thinking like this. You have the rights of choosing to be like this. But we cannot impose our beliefs or our ideas in other people. But we should also not to have this imposed on us. This is happening all the time, especially now that everybody is almost 100% of the time connected to some kind of social media. So let's disconnect from these negative things. Let's not fight in the internet about so many issues. Let's try to do something good. Let's be here. Let's study how to evolve, how to be a better person, how to be more connected with God. This will help us in our moral process of growth. It also will help us to connect with goodness. So we are not going to be surrounded by all these negative vibrations of stress, of hatred, of fights, of anger, of so many things. I know it's easy to talk, but we can do it. We can do it even if a little bit. Always towards the positive, always towards the positive. And the internet, as we say, everything, there is always good and bad. Internet, there is so many good things. Social media, there are so many good things. We are here because of social media. So let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy it so we can evolve together. So let me see here if anyone wrote something. Matthew said, I'm really curious about what civilizations look like on Jupiter and Saturn. Yes, I am very curious too, but I'm like, okay, maybe I would like to visit it for a few hours. I don't think I would be able to bear my soul so underdeveloped with such a enlightened beings, even if for them we are like little children. So it's like when we go to visit the kindergarten and we see the kindergarten kids fighting with each other because of a toy, we think it's so cute. We're like, oh, look at this two chubby cute. So that's exactly like how they think towards us. We are little kids, so they understand. They were like us thousands of years ago, so they understand. But if you are able to acquire this book, Matthew, you will really enjoy. It's a Spiritist magazine, and this one I'm talking about is the edition of 1858. I can search for it and put also in Miami InnerLight later on. So Saul said, we would feel like a fish without water. Yes, Saul. Yes, I'm just thinking how I would be there. Nora said, I was already getting my bags, bags ready. Nora, I love it. I was already getting my bags ready. Yes, this is cool. This is cool. We can all go, you know. Would be better if we could go together. So we stay together with our little group, just admiring, and our crazy thoughts will be with ourselves. Yeah, it would be really interesting to be able to visit. So yes, Teresa, Carlos, that's what I wanted to talk about the Chico Xavier. Thank you. Matthew said, I would just want to go to these places and observe. Yes, me too. But we can't just observe. We have to interact a little bit. And so the final thing is you said was, thanks, I also have a book downloaded from Emanuel Swedenborg, which covers that as well. That's a wonderful. Emanuel Swedenborg is fantastic. And do you know who he was? Divaldo Franco. Yes, one of his reincarnations. Unbelievable. So let's go. What do we do as Christ apprentices due to the re-equilibrium of the world? We are convinced that violence does not extinguish violence. So it's true. It's true. Violence, oops. Emanuel Swedenborg is not Divaldo. My guardian angel just said it's not. It's another one, another very important medium that I cannot remember the name and he's not telling me, but I will research and I will put it here. I'm sorry for the confusion. So when we talk about violence does not extinguish with violence, it's true. Imagine we are having some kind of argument, some kind of a difficulty, and someone pushes somebody else. The other person will, you know, if it's more or less the same type, will push back. And this fight will just get worse and worse and worse. Nothing is going to be really resolved. So this is also the teaching from Jesus. Give the other side of your cheek. When someone slaps you, give the other side of your cheek. And for us, it's so difficult to understand that. Because it's almost like, what? Somebody is mistreating me? And I'm going to be calm and say, okay, hit the other side. But it's not what Jesus was trying to teach us. Jesus is not trying to teach us, oh, okay, come, I enjoy suffering. No, Jesus is teaching us that we have to learn how to be a pacifist. We have to learn how to win arguments in peace, much like Gandhi used to do. Gandhi was a pacifist. He was able to free his own country, India, from the powerful United Kingdom. He was able to win through a lot of peaceful movements. Imagine if he had incentivized his people to go fight. First of all, they wouldn't be able to fight even if they were much, much more in number. They were not bigger in armament, for example. So we have to win things through peace, and that's how Jesus was teaching us how to be more peaceful, how to be able to dominate our inner instinct, because we all have this inner instinct of being a little violent. Even if some people are more violent than others, we have this in us. If someone comes from nowhere and just push you and throw you somewhere, you're going to be like, what? Why did you do it? And it's very hard for us to be able to receive something negative like this and like, what happened? Are you okay? This is not a natural reaction for most of the people. But with the time, And I always like to say that when we get older, we get wiser, and we are able to control ourselves. We are able to control our emotions and behave in a little bit better way. So Emmanuel says, let us think about it. Do not claim isolation or smallness, to give up on the edifying effort that is on us. And he gives few examples. He talks about a humble fountain, warns the oasis in the dry land, and one lamp wins the force of darkness. So this is, what is this? That many times we think like this. Oh, you know, the world is so bad. If I was a millionaire, I would do this. If I was powerful, I would do that. If I was whatever, I would do certain things. And then we end up stopping ourselves because we start thinking we are very little. We are not important. We are not rich. We are not this. We are not that. And then we put the idea in our own minds that whenever I win the lottery, I will buy a house for the homeless, or I will buy a shelter for the animals, the dogs from the streets. So we end up stopping ourselves from anything because we think we can't. And in the reality, it should never be like that. As the examples Emmanuel gave, so powerful in a desert, when you have a little fountain of water, this is a blessing. When it's totally dark and you have a candle, this is amazing light. So we can be this water fountain and we can be this little light. So we shouldn't stop whatever we want because we are so small. And remember the power of community. Yes, maybe me by myself, I'm nobody, but I have friends and I have people that like my ideas. They enjoy many things that I do. So why not talk to these people and see if we can work together? So I think all of you know about a project that I have for many years already that helps the homeless people once a year. Once a year, usually during Christmas time, that's when people are more like loving and more into helping each other. I go to all my neighbors, all the people I know in my neighborhood, and of course, in the Spiritist centers, I know the places I speak, and I talk to them about this initiative. And I tell them about the loving bags for the homeless. And it's such a simple project and it's so beautiful. Anyone can do it. When I started this project many years ago, I decided to start it by myself. Myself, really, because I told this story here. I met a homeless in a McDonald's many years ago, super handsome young guy. I bought him food. He disappeared. I found him. And when I was able to give to him, he was crying. He had passed by a very bad situation inside the McDonald's, people throwing him out. And I was so touched with that situation. And I saw him sweating in a very cold New York City winter time. So in that moment, I knew he was a drug addict. He was a drug addicted and homeless. But he is my brother. He's my brother. And he was on the streets without food, without a shelter, and, unfortunately addicted. So it's a very sad situation. I have been helping this community, of the community that says in general homeless people for many years. So the majority of the homeless people, or they are drug addicts, or they are addicted to something, or they are mentally disturbed. So in whatever is the case, of course, there are also people that unfortunately they lost the jobs, they lost the houses, but this is a minority. Unfortunately, this is a minority, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because they are our brothers and sisters who are going through a very, very hard time. So this project that I started, I decided to create one bag with a bunch of items, and I would distribute. Then I was like, no, I'm gonna make 10 bags so I can help 10 people. And then I told one friend, and she said, I will make 10 bags too. And then I was like, wow, she's making, maybe I tell another friend. So I told another friend. And then I brought the idea to the Spiritism Center that I was coordinating that time, Inner Enlightenment in Manhattan. And the people said, yes, we want to help. So it was a blessing. And then I used to go to different states giving lectures. So I spoke to those people. We had people. It was amazing. And it is happening until nowadays. Until nowadays. It happens in New York. It happens here in Miami. And it happens in many other states. It happens in Virginia. In many other states that I spread the idea. So we are this little candle. But we have our inner lights that we can always do something. Don't think about starting a big thing. Start something little. Start something little, and if it is good, it will start spreading. It will get some power. And even if it doesn't, whatever you are doing with your love, it will bring light to you and to the person receiving it. So let's really abandon the idea that we don't do certain things because we are nobody, we have no power. We can always do something. Always do something. If we can volunteer, we can just go to a hospital and read. You know, nowadays, yes, nowadays things are more difficult because of the coronavirus. But in the past, we could be a volunteer in a hospital. We could read for kids. So many things we still can do. But now, because of coronavirus, things have to be a little bit different. The world is changing. So to finalize, because we need to go to the gospel, the final points here, it comes like, let us work united. I just talked about that. For the edification of a better earth. Yes. Remember Barack Obama? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Together we are stronger. And then let us start and restart our task, relying our own action on Paul's advice. Bear with each other and forgive whatever grievances you may have against one another. So the message is forgive and edify together. We need to learn how to forgive. So when we forgive our brothers and sisters who have issues against us, who they don't understand us, they are against us because of some reason, let's forgive it. Let's forgive this. Let's not think about it. Let's hope they will also be able to forgive whatever they are, so we can work together. We can empower each other. Even if this forgiveness might be difficult, if you cannot love this person yet, you can just forgive and try not to think about it. Try to think this person is sick for whatever reason. That's why he's acting like this against me. So let's take some distance from this person, because yes, I'm not saying that abandon, but we have to understand each other. We have to understand ourselves too. If it's very difficult for me to forgive, if I can actually start hating, so it's better for me to be a little bit far from this person, to be distanced from this person, so I can work on my inner feelings and in my forgiveness process. So this is what it's important. And let's connect with the people that have ideas that are similar to us, that they will be able to help us somehow. So, for example, when I mention the work for the homeless that I still do, there are a lot of people that don't want to help because they don't like homeless, because they feel like a lot of people, they are homeless because they are homeless because they want to get addicted, they ask for money to buy drugs or whatever. It is possible. I'm not saying that they are saints. No, they are our brothers and sisters in the process of evolution, full of mistakes, full of errors, like us. We have different issues. Whatever they have, we might not have the same, but we also have issues. So Jesus always told us, forgive 70 times 7, isn't that? So let's forgive always. Let's forgive their errors too. We are not here to judge. We cannot think about we are going to help just if this person does this, and that. Because then it's not really, you're not really being charitable. You are already judging something in order to help. So lots of people, they don't want to help for it, and it's fine. I have no problems with it. I understand you. I understand you. But don't stop from helping. If you don't want to help the homeless, so help the kids that have no mother and father. They need help too. Help the people that are sick, that the elderly from the nursing homes, that they need so much. And now I can just think about this time of coronavirus, how difficult it has been for them, living in their nursing homes alone, not being able to receive a visit. It's very painful and very challenging for them. So now more than ever, whenever we are able to visit, it would be wonderful if we could visit them to bring some love, some happiness. I am a member of a little group of people here in Miami. They also have in New York, that we go to the nursing homes and we sing, we dance with them. So it's beautiful. It's called Caravan of Love. So we go to the nursing homes. I don't play anything, but I love to dance and to animate. So I have friends, they play the guitar, and all of us, we can sing, and we can just bring joy. And you know, whenever you go just to see a different person, they feel so happy, so happy. So it's whatever charitable work you do, it is a blessing, and you are this amazing light in the darkness. So think like this, and never stop yourself from doing good to the others. So let's go to the gospel according to the Spiritism. So we are now starting chapter 8. We are starting chapter 8. The title is Blessed are the Pure of Heart. And then we are going to read today, let the children come to me. That's what Jesus said. So we have 15 minutes. Wow, that's wonderful. We usually have like 10 minutes to study the gospel. So this is wonderful. So I'm going to be able to read a little bit. So the initial part, blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. This is in Matthew. Then we have, then some children were presented to him so that he would touch them. But as his disciples kept away with scolding words, those who were being presented, Jesus was displeased and said to them, let the children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven is for those who are like them. So hinder them is like, don't give them difficulties to come to me, because the kingdom of heaven is for those who are like them. This is very important. People make mistakes and they start thinking, oh, the kingdom of heaven is just for the children. No, it's for the ones who are like children. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And so in number 3, we have purity of hearts is inseparable from simplicity and humility, and excludes every thought of selfishness and pride. So again, the purity of heart is inseparable from simplicity and humility. And then he continues, just reading a portion here. A spirit of a child may be quite old, but it could be a very developed spirit or not. We don't know. We don't know if the spirit of these children is an evolved one or not. But what we are trying to say is that when the kids are little, when they are very young, when they are, I don't know, kids nowadays, they are evolving so quickly. They sometimes they look like mini adults. Have you seen some kids that they tell you things that you're like, ugh? Sometimes they look like mini adults, because children copy their mother, their father, the people who are around them. So I know a lot of people find it very cute when a children acts exactly like the mother. You know, like sometimes when the mother has good things, it's good, but sometimes when the mother says bad words, curse, or have some kind of attitude towards certain people, and the little kid is imitating, and they film and post it on internet, and everybody's laughing. Ah, it's so cute. I don't find it cute, because, you know, they are little. Yes, to some people it's cute, but the kid imitates the ones they see. And if you think this is good for your 3, 5, 10-year-old, when that kid becomes like 16, 18 with a very bad um, attitude towards everybody else, it will be towards you too. So that's why the mother and father, or the adult who is responsible for this kid, is so important in the educational process of this kid. And the spirits are going to explain in this chapter. They will explain that it's a blessing that God gives to us human beings, the infancy of the person. So the kid years, because during these very young years, the little ones, they will observe, copy, and obey. Yes, they will be more malleable to be able to do whatever the mother, the father, the responsible is trying to correct them. And then we have like this. So little children. Oh, I didn't complete my line of thought. So when Jesus talks about let the little kids come to me, it is because they are simple and humble. So the little kids, they don't really like look at each other. What clothes are you using? What type of job do you have? Where do you live? They don't think about any of this thing. They see another kid, and another kid means fun. Ooh, fun. I want to play with him. I want to play with her. Let's have fun together. And that's how little kids are. So when the kids become bigger, then all these other thoughts start populating their minds, especially if they already have some kind of a bad behavior, bad baggage, and the parents were not able to correct them, to give them a good guidelines, a good guidance. And that's when the things start getting worse and worse. So we have here that the little children offers the picture of innocence and candor. And it is, you know, as I was saying about the little kids in kindergarten playing together, you know, it's adorable. I remember my son, oh, I missed it so much. When he was like 5, we went to school because it was his little birthday party, and they put a music and told all the kids to dance. So they were all dancing, they were jumping, and they were turning upside down. It was so much fun, and they were having like the best time ever, and it was so cute. And it's like, we missed this time, you know. They grow, and yes, it's beautiful. Every age is beautiful to see they're maturing. They have their own questionings, their own difficulties, and for us also to learn how to deal with it. Not easy, but you know, I miss that loving time of young age, even if it's so challenging. But I still miss it. So we have here that they are innocent and they have so much candor, but for those who are like them, so this is the portion I was talking about. So the kingdom of heaven are for those people who are like children, who are pure of heart, who are humble, who are innocent. And yeah, you're going to say, oh, there is no adult innocent. Well, the sense we want to talk about is that bringing love to the things, trying to see the good in other people, not just trying to see the negativity, because we all have a negative side. There is nobody perfect on earth. You wouldn't be here, honey. You would be in Jupiter. So number four, we have this explanation that the children have a need of a sensitive care, which only a mother's tenderness can give them. And this tenderness increases with the frailty and the innocence. So she found behind her child's infantile feature a virile character and adult thoughts. She would care even less if she knew about the child's past. So two different things we are talking here. The first portion is that God gave us this loving, tender mother. So to be able to reincarnate, we need to have a mother and a father. So the father figure is usually is like from the past, okay, from cave time, is the man who has to protect the family, who has to feed, to hunt, to be able to feed the family. And the mother is the one who stays with the kid, who protects them, who cooks the food, who feeds them. So these are very different characteristics of a male personality and a female personality. So we already know in Spiritism that we are going to be reborn in both characteristics of sex, female and male. So what the spirits are telling here is that a woman is this tender being that will take care of that little child that needs to grow. So we know that a little baby, a human baby, if it's abandoned, if no one is taking care of him or her, he will die. In nature, most of the animals, they are born and with few hours, they are already running. Some of them, not even few hours. Some of them, they are born and they are already walking and running with their mother because they need that to survive. In the wilderness, if they are born and they can't move like human babies, they will definitely die. So God is very smart in every sense. But why, you must be thinking, so why God gave us this baby that can't really do anything? Because we are tough spirits. And the second portion that it talks about it, imagine if a mother received this little baby and within few hours this baby already is developed and look at you and says, you are my mother? Oh, so you are my mother. Okay, so what's your name? Angela? My God, you are having a bad case of hair today, yeah? Not good. You gain weight. Whoo, really bad. And you're like, who is this creature? Who is this creature that's driving me crazy? And I'm being light. I'm being light. Imagine if there were even worse. Imagine if this little spirit could see and could tell you things that you did in the past. Maybe he did something really bad to you, you did something really bad to him. So God really blessed us with this innocent little thing that doesn't know how to talk, only knows how to eat, pee and poop and cry, cry, cry. And with months, start learning how to smile. So all these things makes the mother, why they say the mother? Because the mother is the one that's really connected with the baby. The baby was generated inside her body. So the connection is very strong. And until nowadays, unfortunately, lots of fathers, as the baby is born, they abandon the baby, they abandon the woman. So the woman usually, even if life is difficult, life is really terrible, the women usually they stick to the child, they try to protect. So this loving energy is put in the women so they can foment this love to these children. And with the time, they will develop this inner love that even if the baby is an enemy from a previous life, they will have a hard time, but this love is so strong that they will have the tendency of forgiving each other. Oh no, I have to forgive him because he's my son. Or I have to forgive her because she's my mother. I can't really act like this because she's my mother. I love her. So God is very wise doing this, giving us the spirit for our lives. Oh, my prayers for the planet in 1 minute. I thought I was gonna have so much more time, but I didn't. But anyway, so this number 4 is basically is that. So the children they are given to us with this innocence because we will love him or her so much. And in the second page, it talks about that when the time the innocence start disappearing, dissipating, the time when the teenage years really arrive, then the spirit will be fully reincarnated. So that's when all the tendencies, the good and bad tendencies of the past, they will come to the reincarnated spirit, and then the relationships will be more difficult. So that's why we have to teach and guide the spirit while they are still in young age, because they are easier to accept it. Because if we abandon certain issues, when he's older I will take care of it, then it might not be able to do it. So it's 10. It's time for us to do our prayers for our beautiful planet, especially now in this time of COVID-19. So I invite all of you, wherever you are, if you can, to put a little reminder on your cell phone. So every night at 10 p.m. we can pray together and we can visualize positiveness, we can visualize goodness, we can visualize good health for all of us and for everybody in our planet. So let's do it right now. God, Jesus, our guardian angels, thank you so much for bringing us here again tonight, studying your beautiful teachings, Master Jesus. And at this moment, 10 o'clock, we would like to invite all the good spirits to take our good vibrations from so many friends together that are praying for our beautiful planet. And we would like to send this loving energy around, spread it, especially in the hospitals, to all the people that are putting their own lives at risk in order to help others. Please protect and guard the doctors, the nurses, the people that work in hospitals, but also the policemen, the firefighters, so many people, even postmen, they are there every day doing their jobs because it cannot stop. So now that little by little the world is going to start opening up, please protect us even more. Give us the strength to go over any difficulties we might have, because there is light and there is always hope. Please stay with us now and always. Thank you so much. So be it. Very good. Thank you, my friends. Again, it was a blessing to be here. If you can, please put a reminder on your phone so you can pray with us every night at 10 p.m. so we can bring these good vibrations around. Okay? Thank you so, so much. And I will be putting the information I mentioned in Miami InnerLight in a few minutes. Have a great night. See you next week. Bye-bye.